What's up everybody, I'm Jeremy from Tech Designs, and today we're going to be talking about suspension, and that is going to be on this Class A RV behind me. I know that that's a big deal. We always want to improve the suspension and reduce the amount of sway that we have with these Class A RVs. Not only that, but a lot of them sit really low, and we're always looking for a little bit more ground clearance to get us to that favorite camp spot. We want to go on an adventure, and that's just what this kit is. My goal here is going to be to teach you guys a little bit about suspension and how to improve it, and we're going to do just that on this awesome Thor Vegas. Let's go. So the Thor Axis and Thor Vegas are a little bit different than most Class A chassis. A lot of the Class A's in the gas motorhomes are built on an F53 chassis, and if you want to know more about F53 suspension, I'm going to be talking about that in a future video. However, the Thor Axis and Vegas are built on an E350 chassis, which there are a little bit more options available for that particular setup. Now, the big thing on these RVs is they are really heavy. And some of them might be a little bit heavier than we ever wanted it to be because we start adding all of the things from our house into our RV, and before we know it, oh boy. I have found that a lot of the suspension or leaf springs in the rear does not properly hold up the suspension as you would like it to. So what we've done on this is we've actually upgraded the leaf springs on here that have more arc in the spring. That arc is going to be giving us a little bit of lift in the rear, but what it's really doing is it's built out to the weight of what the RV actually weighs now that you have added all your stuff to it. And what that's going to also do is reduce the amount of sway that this has. That's the important feature. Most of these RVs sway a whole bunch because the springs can't do a good enough job supporting it as you go into turn. Well, we took it one step farther on the back of this as well. And we know that you're always looking for shock upgrades for your Class A. And we've done just that on this particular RV. We've added a set of Fox shocks to the rear of it. And you may be saying, well, man, whenever I look up Class A RV shocks, I never come up with Fox. We're trying to change how things are done, giving you guys more options in order to make your RV ride better. If you were to look up a Jeep shock, you're gonna find a million different options, and some of these options are available for them. Well, we're gonna do the same thing for RVs, just making this suspension amazing so that you guys can hit the road. So you can see there's a lot of clearance in the back of this, and as we poke our head in there, you can see the new leaf spring. A ton of room in here. And now the other thing that this is going to do is gonna give us clearance so that we're not dragging the body. But as we move forward and you look at this door, imagine if this was 4 inches lower, how much that this could potentially drag. And you can see that on a lot of these, they are broken or damaged. And if it had a step here, usually the step is bent or broken as well. Now, one other big thing to think about is if you have levelers or stabilizers on your RV, those become the low point on the chassis, which have a tendency to drag, especially in the rear. That's never a good thing because that's going to be something extremely costly to replace. With this suspension here, we're getting all that height out of it. You know, we're going to be saving you money in the long run. Let's take a look at the back of this and really show you how much clearance it has. So as we come to the back of this doesn't have the hydraulic jacks on it. This actually has the manual jack that would go down. What's nice about this being all the way in the back is it's going to give it a little bit more clearance, but when this was lower, it sat about 5 inches lower to the ground. It doesn't look like this particular one has drug at all, so that is definitely a good thing. We're just trying not to break these coaches. That this has actually been drug quite a few times on the bottom of that. And you can see that this is actually pushed all the way back. It's hit so hard and drug. So definitely something that is not good. We don't want to damage these chassis, and this is a good way to do it by doing the suspension on there and making it right. But that's definitely no good right there. So I hope you guys are understanding everything that we are doing here on this Class A coach. And if you do have any questions, please leave a comment down below. We would be happy to answer it. And if you want any more information on these products, you can definitely head over to our website at weldtechdesigns.com. I will make sure to put a link down in the description where you can get kind of an in-depth of to what these suspension packages include. So another great thing about this suspension is we are replacing all of your bushings in there as well. So you're getting a lot of parts. If you did have an older coat, that's going to be something that's going to be completely new. Now, the big thing on these is we always hear the amount of sway that these have when going into a turn, just overall driving, or even braking, how much this is unsettling and not fun to drive. It's always a white knuckle drive whenever you're doing it. This particular customer bought this, I believe, down in Texas, and on the way home to Florida realized, like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? Just because it was very, very difficult to drive. So with our suspension, what we've done is we have changed out the coil springs to a heavier coil spring. What that's again going to do, something very similar to the rear, is reducing that sway, because every time that you make that turn, it's going to take more load in order to compress that coil. It's a higher spring rate, which is going to be really nice. Now as well, we've added a set of Fox shocks to the front of this in order to control that ride as you go down the road. So those low speed bumps and even the high speed bumps, this Fox shock's going to do a really good job in controlling that. Well, another big thing with sway comes down to the steering. People always say that the steering feels loose or has a lot of play in it, especially when you hit bumps or dips and you have a motorhome, a Class A or C built on an E-Series chassis. Well, that's the inherent design of this I-beam suspension, and that's why putting a steering stabilizer on it is so important. On this one, we've also run the Fox steering stabilizer, but do offer them in Bilstein and King as well. So a variety of different products for you RV owners to really make that experience just amazing when you're ready to hit the road. The last part of this kit that we did do is we included a longer radius arm. You'll see that on a lot of kits they offer track bars or other sort of bars like that. Well, we're completely changing out that radius arm to a longer radius arm, and what that's going to do is it's going to have additional caster built into it, which is going to help you a ton when driving down the road. Also, when you decide to go off grid and go camping, that's going to be another great feature of this, is because as your wheel moves up and down, you're not getting rid of all of the caster that these have built into it. And if you want to know more about caster and camber and alignment, head over to Jeremy's World 10, where I did a video showing you all about alignment and why it's important to even get your stock RV aligned before you hit the road. So that's going to pretty much wrap up this front suspension and what we've done to it, really making it nice. So this did give us an additional 4 inches of height on the RV, which isn't ridiculous. You would think, well, gosh, if I'm gonna have 4 more inches, oh, it's gonna be more top heavy, it's gonna sway more, and it really doesn't at all. You are going to be crazily surprised at how much better it's going to drive even with this suspension on it. It's going to make a huge difference. These people traveled all the way from Utah to have us install this. And now, I mean, to me, my opinion, I feel like this is how the coat should come. It just looks amazing. Well, there it is, guys. A little bit about our suspension that we're doing here at Weldtech Designs. And while you're hanging out with me, please smash that subscribe button, as next week I will be putting out another video as well talking about suspension or things that we're doing to vans and RVs here at Weldtech Designs. If you do have any questions, yeah, just leave them in the comments. A ton of stuff. This RV is really, really amazing with this new suspension kit on it. I'm sure I missed something, and I can go in depth on any of these products even more if you would like, but really just trying to have you guys understand the benefits of having really good suspension, having really good shocks on whether it be a Vegas or even an F53 chassis, with our new products available for those as well. That include leaf springs and 2.5 King shocks on that. So a ton of products coming for all of you RV owners. Our goal is to change the way that these things ride so you guys can hit the road and have fun. So this is a Thor Vegas. Also a Thor Access are built on the same chassis. I don't think I have anything else. So guys, thanks for watching. I'm Jeremy from Weldtech Designs. I'll see you in the next video.